Hello and welcome to my road to the British Champs, and it's been a pretty solid week. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10 week. Obviously the training's been all based in America. It's been quite intriguing in that because we wanted to do a lot of kind of traveling around and doing stuff, I figured it would make more sense for me to try and compress my training week down. So what I did was, as opposed to doing squats, deads and bench separately, I did them all in one session. So I only trained 3 times in 3 days in the week. And I did squats, bench and deads each time, where the middle session was just squats and bench press. But it worked well. I mean, obviously the sessions took slightly longer because of that, but it was quite nice. I think a lot of powerlifters do. A lot of powerlifters do the 3 main lifts together quite frequently. For me, it's the first time doing that, so it's nice to experiment with it. It's good, obviously, because when I compete, that's what I do. So it is nice to have that experience. And it was good, like I said, because it gave us time to go and do awesome stuff, which you would have seen in my various days of eating and evenings of eating. I've got more of those coming out, by the way. Obviously, today is. You're watching this on a Friday, presumably. I've got a full day of eating coming out on Sunday, which is going to be sweet. And then I've got another evening of eating from America. So I've got a bit more American footage just kind of hanging around, which hopefully you guys are going to enjoy. And if you don't enjoy it, just say that you do and like it anyway, because otherwise it will hit my confidence quite hard. And I might end up just fleeing the country and changing my name to like Stephen or something. So just obviously bear that in mind. Now, in terms of training, it's been good, it's been productive. I feel like strength's coming on nice, like I've hit some nice sets of 5. The new setup at the moment is working really well. I don't want to kind of disclose too much about it and go on about it too much. I don't want to basically say exactly what I'm doing and then in a couple of weeks end up changing it. So I figure I'll give it a good run, make sure I know exactly what I want to do, make the little changes that I'm making kind of here and there, and then when I know exactly what I'm doing long term, I'll obviously reveal that to you so you get a clear idea of how my training is structured. But obviously you're going to see it in the clips anyway. If you watch my training footage, you can kind of pick up what I'm doing, to be honest. And that leads me on nicely to the training footage itself. Now, obviously I'll talk about it when you see it in a second. But the session that finished the week, the heavy PR type session, I was really delighted with, because again, I'll explain it in a second, but the setup, the gym, you might have, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I put the picture up of me deadlifting in 24-hour fitness. So I trained in that gym, and the setup could not have been worse for squats it wasn't ideal because I had a massive walkout. Bench was kind of okay. Deadlift was awful. There was literally no space to deadlift. The plates were hex plates, so if you're doing any more than 1 rep, it is a disaster. And I managed to get some really good sets in. So again, you'll see it in a second, but I'm really pleased with that. And I'll say it kind of ranks up with one of my best kind of training sessions ever. So with all of that said, and without further ado, there's only really one way you can enjoy this, the clips coming up, and that is quite simply to go out and purchase somewhere in the region of 3,500 toothbrushes, melt them down, and then obviously mold them into one giant toothbrush. Try and pick it up. You might need to get some kind of crane or heavy kind of duty machinery to pick it up. Get it to brush your teeth. Obviously, because it's so big, it will just brush your whole face, probably your body as well, and it might kind of give you some lacerations. But when you've done that for a good 20-25 minutes, sit back and relax and enjoy. And here we go. So, like I said, the week was compressed into 3 training days as opposed to my regular 6 days. The first day was a Tuesday, and this was it's kind of like a relatively low intensity, high volume day. So it's getting volume in without it being maximal. So 5 sets of 5, 175 kilos, 385 pounds for squats. And this is a weight which, obviously for me it's relatively light, but it's heavy enough that it's kind of, it's taxing to the point where it's going to cause the adaptation and the strength gains. Now, if you look back a few months ago at the kind of 5 sets of 5 sessions I was doing for squats before, it was ridiculous. It was getting to the point where every single set, every single rep was basically maximal, and it was absolutely killing me. So I'd dread the sessions, and B, I'd be absolutely destroyed afterwards, which would quite frequently impact on my deadlift sessions afterwards. So it's nice doing this with a lighter intensity, and it felt good. I was still kind of umming and ahhing about my squat technique. If you watch the video where I train at the campus gym with the online coach, I had my feet really wide, and I was sitting really far back, and it was uncomfortable, and it ended up me kind of literally falling backwards. So what I'm doing now, I've kind of settled on It's still a wider grip. It's for me, sorry, a wider stance. It's a much wider stance than my normal one. But what I'm not doing is I'm not sitting back ultra far. I am breaking at the hips first, like before I break at the knees. But I'm not, I mean, basically I'm breaking at the hips and then just dropping down. I'm not thinking about sitting back, because when I do that, it just feels really, really awkward and like I'm going to fall backwards. So I think I've kind of got a happy medium. My knees aren't caving in, which we'll see in a later clip. It looks a lot better now. So overall, I'm really, really pleased with that. Now, bench press, same thing. 5 sets of 5, 116 kilos, 255 pounds. So again, pretty light in terms of weight, in terms of intensity. But again, just getting the volume in to the point where I can continue doing it. I'm not going to get that fatigue. But I am going to get the associated strength gains. And again, you see here the technique change. It's a much wider grip. I'm still a bit lopsided. You see there my right shoulder's kind of sitting up higher than my left, which I've done quite a few times in the past. It's linked to a shoulder injury and then subsequent tightness, which is from a couple of years ago. It's basically the case. I mean, if I'm kind of aware of it and I remember it, I can just tuck my shoulder in and it's fine. But obviously sometimes I forget it and it doesn't happen. Anyway, that's feeling good. Bench press setup is feeling better than ever, so I'm really, really pleased with that, and I'm very confident going forward. Now, deadlifts. Here is 3 sets of 5, 193 kilos, 425 pounds. Again, exactly the same thing. It's a lightweight. It's a much lighter weight slash intensity than I would do in the past for sets of 5, but obviously there is a reason behind that. And it felt good. Speed felt really good. It felt nice doing all the lifts together. I mean, I thought prior to this, doing all 3 exercises together was going to kind of wipe me out. But it actually works out quite nicely. Obviously, the squats are relatively tiring. The bench is almost like a recovery. And then deadlifts, I'm kind of ready to go again. The reason for it being 3 sets of 5 instead of 5 sets of 5 is just simply because deadlift obviously is massively CNS taxing. And for me, and I think it's the case for most people, I just can't recover as well from them. So doing 5 sets of 5 with any more deadlifts in a week after that would be just a non-starter. But yeah, it felt good. I'm really happy with that. Form-wise, it's been the same for a few months now, and I'm really, really pleased with how it feels. My deadlift now is just a case of doing it. There's no thought process. I just set up, get my feet in the right place, and just rip it off the floor, and it feels really, really good. Right, Thursday. This is the second session of the week. This one is a bit of a Weasley rubbish session. It's literally just to prevent detraining, so it's really, really light. So squats was 2 sets of 5, 147 kilos, 325 pounds. So like I said, super, super light. It makes a nice change to be squatting and not feeling like your organs are going to explode. This is a bit of a dodgy angle because there's the racks in the way, but I was trying to show you guys my kind of the compromise. So you see there is some forward knee travel, but if you look, I am definitely breaking at the hips first, which is a change. I'm not just sitting straight forwards. And as a result, I feel like I can still get the stretch reflex at the bottom, and it feels comfortable, but I'm also sitting back more than I was, so there is more of a low bar squat. Right, bench press was 5 sets of 5, basically the exact same session from the Tuesday, but slightly heavier, but just a light volume day. And again, it felt really good. I'm having an issue in that the bar I use in my gym I think it's slightly different to some other bars, and plus, bars in general, they can differ in terms of the width and the width of the ring. So I was using those as the guide on my bar. Obviously, where I'm traveling around different gyms, they're all kind of in different places. So I'm having to kind of guesstimate where my hands are going to be. What I'm going to do when I get back is just bring a tape measure and just measure, because I read that, I didn't realize this, but there actually it's got to be 81 centimeters, no more than that between your hands. So I'm going to measure and just make sure I keep that all the time, because otherwise, obviously, if I adapt to too wide a grip, it's going to be a waste of time. But yeah, bench press is feeling good. And on to the last one. So this is Saturday. This is the last session of the week, and this is the heavy one. So essentially what I'm doing here is going for a heavy PR set for my squat, for my bench, for my deadlift. And I'm pretty pleased. So this is my squat first. 206 kilos, 455 pounds, got it for 5 reps, and I'm happy with that. The first 4 felt really good. The last one was a bit of a grind, but I felt confident the whole time. The rack, the setup was not good. You can't quite see it there, but those safeties come out really far. They're too high for me. In fact, I think they're too high for anyone unless you do like quarter squats. So I had to walk back a good few meters. It was like going back in the old days in my old gym where I had to walk back miles. So it's really, really irritating. Obviously, when it's heavy, it makes it hard. Kind of takes it out of you before you start. But I'm pleased with that. And obviously, within the next week to 2, I'll be doing an out-and-out PR for a set of 5. So that's good news. Right, bench press. With the bench, I'm doing it slightly different in that I go for a PR set of 3, followed by a PR set of 5. So the 3, I went for 145 kilos, 320 pounds, and I got them, and I'm really pleased because my shoulders are feeling a bit sore here. I wasn't feeling very strong at all, but due to the wide grip, it just feels like I can grind anything out. So here, I didn't really feel strong or explosive at all, but the second it came off my chest, like I knew I had it. Even, you'll see the third rep now, it's a bit of a slow one, but I just knew I had it. I knew I could lock it out because it's such a shortened range of movement. It feels really, really strong and really efficient. So I'm trying not to get too hyped up, but I am very excited about the potential with my bench press now. Right, the set of 5 was 141 kilos, 310 pounds, and this is an all-time PR for a set of 5, so I'm really, really pleased with this. And again, the same thing. Didn't feel particularly strong. I can definitely feel a lot stronger on another day, but I still managed to grind the reps out. Whenever the 5th rep was quite a slow one. Again, you'll see it in a second. It comes off my chest, okay, kind of slows down, but here, even though it's really ugly, I knew I had it. I knew I was going to lock it out from the second it left my chest, so I'm very confident about how the bench is looking at the moment. Right, deadlift. Now, this is the one that I put on Instagram, and this is the one that, I mean, this is probably one of, if not the kind of proudest, the thing I'm most pleased with about my training probably ever, because the environment could not have been less conducive to this. So you see the bench in front of me there, that was twisted round in the way, so that all the benches were screwed into the floor. This was the only spot I could deadlift on because the floor was reinforced, the rest of it isn't. The hex plates, again, any more than one rep with hex plates is a disaster because they keep moving. I really, really wanted to get this for a set of 5. I was so freaking determined to get it. You'll see, obviously, you saw at the start of the video, my last rep was the ultimate grinder, but I got it and I'm delighted about that. You see here, the second I put the bar down after my first rep, the weights roll forward, which is an absolute nightmare because you have to get readjusted. I kept kind of pulling up in an awkward position. Obviously, it's longer between reps, so it kind of, you lose that kind of stored elastic energy. Like I said, it was just a really, really terrible setup to do this with, but I got 5 reps and I'm very, very pleased because I feel like if I can get 5 reps at this weight, 505 pounds, in this awful, crappy environment, on a good day when I'm feeling good and the setup's nice, I think I can do a lot more, so I'm pretty excited about that. Here we go, the ultimate grinder, but I got it. Like I said, if you haven't seen it on Instagram, you need to follow me on Instagram, and you can do it right now before I get furious. But that's pretty much that, guys. That was my week. I'm pleased with the training. Obviously, I'll be back in the UK soon, so we'll be back to the normal setup, back to the normal gym, which will be nice. And that's that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, as always, and I will see you tomorrow.